Hello Flosstube, it's Jerry Caudell, the Yankee Creek Stitcher. I'm back for Flosstube number 24. It is Friday, April 19th of 2019. We're almost to the halfway point of this year, which is crazy. But it is a cold, rainy, drizzly day today. But Sunday, it's supposed to be beautiful, 75. So, of course, it's Good Friday. Every Friday is good, so it's a great Friday today. If you are celebrating Easter this weekend, I hope you enjoy the weekend. I plan on spending some time with my family. We're going to church on Saturday and Sunday, getting together with another side of the family for dinner and Easter egg hunt for the kids. So it's going to be a great weekend. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much for stopping by and spending some time with me today. If you're a new viewer, welcome. And if you're returning, thanks so much for coming back and spending some time with me and catching up on my early Stitch Mania progress. I am loving it. A bit overwhelming, but I love it. Some of the charts I'm really enjoying and just don't have enough time in each day to stitch on the ones that I'm really enjoying, and so I'm looking forward to May to get each of those back into my hands again to see how much further I can get. I'm probably not going to stitch on every single whip every day. That's one of the reasons I'm doing early Stitch Mania, is because I know I'm not going to be able to stitch every day. So I'm probably going to pick up my favorites and put those in another Tiny Decisions wheel. And go about it that way. I do have a couple, one gift, and of course I'm going to StitchCon, so I would like to participate in the smalls exchange that they have there. So I've got to decide on what I'm going to stitch and get to stitching it. So that's what I've been up to, trying to plan that kind of stuff, and I'm really having fun with early Stitch Mania. I do have one stash enhancement, and this was ordered back on March 1st. Picture This Plus had a, I think it was a 25% off sale. It's been a while, I don't remember, but it was 25% off and the shipping was only $5. I got an entire yard from them. It was just such an awesome price. So this was ordered, 6-8 weeks ago. Just now getting it, which is fine. I wasn't in any rush for it, but I haven't made any new purchases. That's the part I'm proud about. So this was, purchased a little while ago, but I'm just now getting it. But like I said, this is Heartland. It's 36 count Heartland, and I do have a full yard of it. Of course, I'm not going to open up the whole thing, but it's just a beautiful neutral. All of the modeling is just gorgeous. Very happy with that. So I have plenty of fabric because I'm hoping to do some type of Christmas in July. I don't know if I'll do a new start every day, but I didn't do any Christmas starts in my early Stitch Mania because I wanted to do something for July. And now that I have this, I have plenty of fabric, replenished some of my stock that I've used for my early Stitch Mania. So that was my only stash enhancement. So we're just going to jump right into my new starts. I had showed you on last Flosstube, the chart I had spun for that day was the Primitive Hare, Trick or Treat Pumpkin, and I hadn't stitched on any of it yet. So I will show you how far I was able to progress on it. But this is the chart. I just love it. And the fabric I had showed you all, you really liked, thought it was a great idea. So I was able to stitch about 3 hours on this. I started on the outside edge of it. Oh, wait a minute. That was sideways. There we go. Because I had mentioned in the last Flosstube that I like to start in the upper right corner of the chart. And that is, and I forgot to clarify, I like doing that for the variegated flosses because I like to do the full X's using my variegated flosses. I think it looks a lot better. I know some people are like, you know, you don't have to complete the X for the variegated floss. You'll still get that, you'll still get a variegated pattern, but to me, it looks more of like a heathered look rather than the I don't know, just the variegated areas. And I like that look more. So on variegated flosses, I love to stitch in the right hand corner. Because I also mentioned that because I'll do the sewing method and it's quicker and faster, quicker and easier starting from the right hand corner and doing full X's, moving from right to left. And someone had asked for clarification of my sewing method. So I am planning on recording a tutorial on that. I have plenty of my charts that I've started, and a couple this week is really good charts to use because I like to have a lot of solid area to stitch as I'm showing that. So look for that. But that is my progress, and I think it's just going to look amazing on this fabric, as many of you had agreed. So there we are for Trick or Treat Pumpkin. And that was day 12. So day 13, oops, knocked you there. Day 13 was, Threadwork Primitives, Beggar's Night. And for this chart, I'm using, this is a 31, one of the zipper pouches. Of course it doesn't have the clear vinyl window, but it's the perfect size even for a full size chart to fit in there and entirely zip up. So, that's the chart. Oopsie. Okay, so this is the photo on the front, Beggar's Night. And those are all DMC flosses that were used for that model. I am using the DMC flosses. Yeah, I think I'm using all the called for DMC colors. The fabric I chose to stitch this on was 36 count deep pumpkin from Luminous Fiber Arts, Misty Purcell. I love this orange. I love orange, and this is just gorgeous. Yeah, I started stitching on the top from right to left. So that's all the progress. That's a good representation of the orange in that fabric. And the floss I'm stitching with right now is orange. It is DMC 301. So it looked really, really good on this fabric. I am stitching this 1/2. And I was able to stitch on it for about 1 hour and 15 minutes. So not too bad of progress for 1 hour and 15 minutes, I don't think. So that was Beggar's Night with Threadwork Primitives. Day 14 was Heartstring Sampleries, Rooster and Acorns. Love this chart. I did Heartstring Samplery, Rooster and Acorns. I changed this up a bit. I'm not doing the, sounds like a hoot owl right outside my window. I don't know if you can hear that or not. That's so cool. I'm not doing the top or the bottom row of the letters. Just doing that center here. That's so cool. I'm pretty sure that's an owl. I've never heard that here in my studio. And I did change up the colors. It's acorns theme, so I wanted it to be more of a fall look. So I chose, I think this is 32 count, 28 count. This is 28 count, picture this plus cyprium. And the variegation is just beautiful in this fabric. It's oranges and greens and browns. Yeah, that's a good representation of the color. The floss I'm using is cinnamon. Yes, the General Art cinnamon. It is, let me show that to you. It's a beautiful, kind of a burnt orange and brown variegated floss. It's beautiful. I'm really enjoying stitching this one. That's my progress so far. I kind of started, I was tight on the top and the bottom border, so I kind of started here in the middle, but I think it's turning out great. I'm stitching this 2/2, so I'm definitely going to have to get another skein or two of this floss. So happy with that, loving that. And again, I'm using a 31 bag for this beautiful bright colors. And I stitched on that one 4 hours and 25 minutes, or 4 hours and 15 minutes. That must have been a Saturday. Okay, day 15, I spun Birds of a Feather Toile Rooster. And this is just a Ziploc bag for this one. Okay, so this is the chart. I love, someone had commented also that I say, I love it a lot, and I do. My husband has pointed that out to me several times. He makes fun of me. I just love it. I just love it. And I do. I just love this. This the model was stitched using Weeks Dye Works charcoal. The chart is 182 by 182. So that is a lot of stitching, and the blocks on this are so tiny. So I'm keeping, I have to keep a little post-it on there to keep, because it's, you know, you can tell by the rooster, it's a lot of little, not really confetti, but, you know, you've got to really keep track of your spacing. This is one I need to get into my Goodreader app. Just didn't take the time to do that. So that is the chart. I am using DMC, of course, to stitch this, but I have changed the fabric. I'm using a 30 count Weeks chickpea, which is an orangey color, and I love it. Oops, seeing right through that. That's my progress so far. A few letters in the very top of the rooster's tail. And I'm stitching this, yes, I'm stitching it 2/2. But that fabric color I thought was gorgeous. Getting really good color today, I guess because it's cloudy and overcast out there. Okay, and I have plenty of 310 for that one because I think it's going to use quite a bit of it. Let's see, I stitched on that one 4 hours as well. That must have been my Saturday and Sunday stitches. Okay, day 16, I spun Stone Street Stitchworks. And I'm using my beautiful project bag from Cheryl McKinney at Tranquil Stitches. thrilled with this, and she makes the vinyl see-through fronts. Okay. I got this off their Etsy shop. I love being able to just purchase and download it right then and there. But Stone Street Stitch Works Fireworks on the 4th. It is all red, white, and blue. I think the windows and the roof had a darker color. This, of course, it calls for DMC. And last Flosstube I shared with you, I got the Americana, the Americana floss pack from Victorian Motto. Had all the red, white, and blues. So I wanted to use some of those, and so I converted some of those colors. I am stitching this on 32 count Cocoa. I was going to use a light blue. I was going to stitch it on, I think it's light denim from Luminous Fiber Arts, but with it being called Fireworks on the 4th, I figured it should be a darker color, since it's, of course, in the evening that you're doing fireworks. So, of course, this isn't black, but it's dark. It's a darker color. I love that. Let's see, the red, this red, it's ever so, this is ever so much darker, just to show the shadowing effect, since it's on the side of the barn. The brighter red is America the Beautiful from Victorian Motto. It's ever so slightly variegated into a darker red. There we go, that's closer to color. So I wanted to use that. And what's great about her flosses is she will give you, if it's a DMC, really close to a DMC color, she puts that on the tag. So, these are 20-yard skeins. Get lots of floss with these. Oh, and I can't remember. I think it's 20 yards. It's so much floss. So I love that, if I run out of DMC color, I've got this as backup if I needed it. So she gave the conversion of DMC 815 and 816. And so to get just the little bit darker of a red for the shadow of that barn, or the house, this is the house that I'm stitching, I was able to use the DMC 815. So it worked out perfect for that. And the blue and the white that I'm using to go with this is the Sea to Shining Sea from Victorian Motto, and it had a DMC conversion of 312, which is really, really close to that. And Primitive Stripes from Victorian Motto. It's ever so slightly off-white, which I really like. So that was day 16, and I stitched for about 2 hours and 45 minutes on that one. And that's one of the charts that, as I was stitching it, thought that would be a great chart to show you my sewing method that I use. Because I watched Chelsea and Priscilla's sewing method tutorial of how they sew, because when I do this sewing method, I'm going down, up and down in my fabric, and they go left to right or right to left, however they do it. It was kind of hard for me to wrap my head around how they did their stitches, since I did it go up and down and they go left and right. So I thought it may be helpful just to show a different version of the sewing method. It just goes to show there's several different ways to do the same thing. Okay, so day 17, I spun Prairie Schooler, Plum Street Samplers, Babushka's Blossoms, and I love that, Babushka. Okay, so this is the chart. Beautiful autumnal chart. There is Babushka with Blackbird. She is checking out all of her blossoms. Gorgeous. Love this huge fat pumpkin. The pumpkin calls for colonial copper, and I've seen, I don't remember who it was, used colonial copper on a pumpkin, and it is gorgeous. The variegation in it is gorgeous. So I'm definitely going to hold out doing the pumpkin until I get the colonial copper to stitch it. So I chose 36 count vintage country mocha to stitch this chart. And I started just working on the vines that go up either side here. I think I started at the top. And I think I actually started over this side is where I'm stitching right now. So I converted that to eagle's nest. Oops, I dropped it. Just a second. Nope, that's not it. Oh, I just pulled out a little bit. I use this color a lot. It's Victorian Motto samplers. It's called Eagle's Nest. It's a beautiful, beautiful brown. So this is my progress so far. Yeah, this is the right side of the chart. Coming right along. It's a really quick stitch, and I am stitching this one 1 over 2. So like that. I stitched almost 2 hours on it, about 1 hour and 45 minutes. And just using the good old Ziploc bag on this one. I need to get some more of those vinyl pouches. I really love the vinyl pouches from the Container Store. Also, I have ordered some off of Amazon. I just need to get some more of those or knock out some more of these whips. So day 18, I spun RATM Harvest Time. It's a gorgeous chart. And it's one of them that has an actual photo on the front that shows you. But I just love those 3 pumpkins on there. They're just gorgeous. And actually, you know what? It would be pretty. Well, the bottom's cut off. I'll say to make that into a small for an exchange. So I converted the colors in the fabric. See, the color they called for the green in the vine and the letters, it called for General Arts Forest Glade, and the orange, it called for Crescent Colors Fallen Leaves. So I am stitching this on, I think this is a 32 count. Yes, 32 count Lagana cinnamon roll. It is a gorgeous, lightly mottled orange, kind of orangey brown. I am stitching this. It's a 32 count, and in 32 count I usually stitch 2 over 2. But this Lugana fabric, it's really tightly woven, and as I started out 2 over 2, and it was like really thick stitches. So I tested what it would look like with the 1 over 2 down here, and was happy with the coverage. So I switched over. I had only stitched just a tiny bit of it, so I switched over and changed to 1 over 2 with these. And I absolutely love the floss colors that I'm using for this. The orange, I decided to use Color and Cotton's Reindeer Treats. This came in their Christmas or holiday box that they did last year, But look at that. It is a beautiful orange into a dark brown. And I was afraid the orange might be a little bit too bright, but wow, when you break that down to just one strand of that floss, I just loved it. I just think it's so gorgeous. Just the variegation in that. Oh, I just think it is a perfect, beautiful fall orange and brown variegated floss. And I'm afraid, you know, this was, it doesn't say limited edition. It's called Reindeer Treats, but I doubt that they still have it. But I love it. I thought it was a gorgeous color. And the green I chose to use is another color in cotton, Pine Needles. And it's a brown, green, grayish variegated floss. And I love using this Pine Needles for the fall chart that has the viney or leaves or anything. It's just a beautiful, it's like the green leaves that are just getting ready to turn brown. I love it. Okay. So that was harvest time. Getting a mess over here. Okay, and that brings us to today, day 19. And I spun Prairie Schoolers autumn samplers. And I was so excited to land on that today. I already have my fabric. I haven't pulled the floss. Prairie Schoolers, I usually just use the called for DMCs. Makes it so much easier, and it's beautiful as it's stitched, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. But the chart, well, this is the, you get all three of these patterns, of course, in the chart. This is a reprint, so it's not on the cardstock. But the one I'm going to do right now is this one here. It says autumn. Ooh, it's not going to focus, is it? Well, I love it. These little squirrels. I love that. I love the leaves. It says autumn wind is rising and the air is wild with leaves. That's one of the things I love about autumn, is seeing the leaves falling out of the trees. I think it's gorgeous. So I'm going to start with this one. I do intend probably to stitch all of these at some point, but I'm starting with this one. The stitch count on these charts are 180 by 88. So the fabric I chose to stitch this on is a 28 count even weave that I had purchased. This was probably from Hobby Lobby, the pack, because I actually had to count the threads to see what the stitch count was. So I had obviously thrown the little package away, but it was a 28 count. I did tea and coffee dye this. So it's not really heavily modeled, but I like it. So I have, of course, haven't started stitching on this yet today. So that is my plans for that. And so yeah, I'll be stitching on that today, and we'll show you my progress on it next week. But as soon as I get done with this, I will, shouldn't have much editing to do today. So I'll get this uploaded and get my DMC pulled for this chart and start stitching on it. I'll have a couple hours today. Ooh, maybe. We have a Derby dinner tonight. It's our last show for their 2018-2019 season. It's Newsies. I have heard great things. Oh. I didn't think this was recording. I was about to have a heart attack, but it is. I've heard great reviews about Newsies, so I'm excited. It's one of them. They have a lot of cast members, and so I'm sure it's going to be a great show. So we're looking forward to spending an evening there. So yeah, I'm going to have limited time, honestly, to stitch, maybe an hour or so, but tomorrow's Saturday. So maybe I'll get a couple more hours in. My daughter from Nashville and her husband is coming up for the Easter weekend. And like I said, we're going to church. And then the little family get together on Sunday. So I'm looking forward to that. It's supposed to be Saturday's going to be cold and nasty, but Sunday's going to be beautiful. So hopefully the snow is done for everyone out there. I know some of them got more snow this past week. So just hold tight. It's almost here. I'm honestly looking forward to summer. Spring is just, you know, it's prime example. It's going to be 50 today and tomorrow and 75 Sunday. So I'm ready for it to be 75 to 85 every day. We're almost there. Don't waste our time away, huh? Okay, everyone, I hope you have a blessed Easter weekend. I hope you get lots of stitching time in or lots of family time in. And I will see you next week with some more Stitch Mania updates. Have a great week. Bye.